So you guys have been asking me, how do I fight jets so well?
Let's try to take out this guy. Nice. Oh. Nice. Oh. Yeah.
Oh. So I decided to make a guide. I tried describing everything as well as I could. So apologies if you need some clarification on some things. Feel free to write down in the comments and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Flying jets in Battlefield is a pretty tedious thing to learn. And I understand that it can be definitely frustrating and confusing at times, so I hope this guide helps you out. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. It would really help the channel out. Pretty fresh channel, so if you want to do it, do it. If you don't, don't. But it would be very much appreciated. Don't forget to go follow my Twitch down in the description if you want to see some live gameplay. It's pretty chill in there. So with all that said and done, let's get into the video. Welcome to how to fly a jet correctly in Battlefield 6. So of course we've got two jets. We've got the F-16 here or the F-22 here. So quickly hopping into it, the F-16 is more of a hands-on kind of jet. So the difference between these two is that this one is for taking out infantry as well as other jets. It's pretty much an all-rounder, whereas this is a fighter jet. So this kind of jet is made for fighting other jets.
Oh my god, bro.
So you get 2 bombs in the F-16. However, with the F-22 you get 4. This is where the difference is. The F-16 has lock-on missiles to ground vehicles, whereas the F-22 does not. My personal favorite is definitely the F-16. Just because of how agile this thing is, I feel like this is a lot more powerful than what an F-22 offers when it comes to being an all-round jet. However, the F-22, don't get me wrong, this thing is strong. However, it just depends on your playstyle, really. So, first, we'll hop in the F-16 and show you guys a few maneuvers. So, of course, we got the cannon. So, with the cannon, on all jets, I recommend not fully spraying it, otherwise you're gonna have a problem. So, for instance, with the cannon, if I spray... Oh no, I can't shoot. What's going on? Basically, you got a cooldown. So the only way you really want to use the cannon is by gently spraying it like so. That way you can hit more shots and also never run out of ammo. Got the air-to-ground missiles, which is a personal favorite of mine, which is why I love the F-16 so much. So say for instance over here there was a AA or a tank. Basically what would happen is I would be able to lock on and then just left click and hopefully shoot them unless they deploy some sort of countermeasure. So with the F-16 you can shoot in front. Say for instance there was a tank here, I'd lock on, shoot, bang, get a hit. However, I can also flip backwards in free view, get a lock and shoot backwards, which I think is super great. Definitely amazing. So, with the F-16, you also get 2 bombs, like so. So what you want to do is, you see this little circle on the screen. You want to make sure it's lined up perfectly, and then just double tap. Sometimes it's best to slow down with the jets, just so you're a bit more precise. Third person does give you a bit more leniency on what you can see. However, I think first person is the move when it comes to bombing. So what I can do in the F-16, which is fascinating, I can literally just try and evade whatever's coming towards me just by hitting the air brakes, slowing down, and then yawing up. So I'm just pulling up and slowing down, but however, I'm going sideways. Another thing I think we should definitely cover is the flares. So of course, these are your countermeasures for when you get locked onto by an incoming missile. So basically, at the bottom of your screen, you will have a little bar at the bottom, right here, which will tell you when a missile is coming, which is not great news. We don't like missiles when we're piloting jets, because that can literally destroy us. So what we want to do is we want to wait right until it comes up with incoming just here. The second it says incoming, you have two options. You can either deploy your flares like so, but that comes with a bad side. So if I was to be locked onto right now by another tank, I have no flares. I am pretty much screwed. I'm out in the open. As you can hear, it's just not working. So I'm gonna have to wait for that to redeploy, and then bang, I can use my flares again. What I like to do is I like to fly quite low. Not too low, but pretty low. This gives me the option of finding terrain, which I can then swing round like so. Bang. If a missile was flying towards me, like this, I got locked onto, oh, incoming. If I flew round and then quickly just maneuvered behind the mountain, that can no longer track me. So I've still got flares I can use. I can then come round, find that tank or the AA, lock on, bang, shoot, take him out. If I then manage to not destroy the enemy, I can then use my flares. Right, let's start with the F-22. One thing you always need to think about is not speed, but agility. How fast can I turn around the corner? Or how fast can I fly in a straight line? It's not all about speed. If I wanted to lose a Raptor, I could definitely lose it around here so quick if I was in an F-16. Because as I'll demonstrate now, it takes a lot longer to fly around. And I can also try and do what I do in an F-16, which is turn and spin. But look where that lands me. Dead. Because the F-16 is able to thrust vector. So I'll show you what a thrust vector is very fast. This is a thrust vector. Basically stop and drift in the sky and hover for like 5 seconds. Which is not the best thing in the world. However, there is some circumstances where thrust vectoring can really help you out. I will try and demonstrate now. Say for instance, there was an F-16 straight behind me. Not too far behind, but literally up my bum. I can then swing up, do a little scoop-de-doop doop doop, hit the afterburner, keep going up. This isn't very reliable. I wouldn't exactly recommend it, just because of the fact that you're more of an easy target to hit if you're like that. Onto settings. So, as you see here, we're on the edit aircraft pilot mappings. There's only 4 certain keybinds I use on mouse and keyboard. I understand you controller players may not be able to change this. I'm not too sure because I don't play controller that much. But if it is possible, I recommend following this. So we've got pitch up and pitch down. So the advantages of having these 2 keybinds, for instance, pitch down as left control and pitch up as spacebar, is that I can adjust my mouse aiming while I'm pitching up or pitching down. This also just kind of makes it a bit easier because you have a bit more control over the aircraft while flying. And if you're going in at a slope right down to the ground, you can just hold control, even yourself out, and go Sonic straight up to the sky. Another thing I have changed is these two. So activate equipment slot 1 and 2. So for this one, activate equipment slot 2. This would be your flares when it comes to jets. So I have this binded to my mouse 5 button just for simplicity. When I'm fighting, I can just quickly click it on my mouse, not have to worry about pressing anything on my keyboard, and just deploy my countermeasures. For mouse number 4, these are my bombs. So if I see that I quickly need to get out the bombs and quickly bomb somewhere when I'm flying low, I can just simply press mouse 4 and shebang, I'm bombing. So for vehicle mouse aim sensitivity, I have this at 10, just because I find that's sort of the sweet spot there. So if we go to edit vehicle settings, you'll see these options. So I have invert vertical flight set to on, just because I know some people kind of prefer not to have inverted on, but I've just kind of learned that way and got used to it, so I just use that. I've got aircraft control sensitivity at 200, just so I get that full kind of swing action when I'm aiming. This is a very important setting. I recommend having this on, just as it helps with your muscle memory when aiming, so it's not going to pretty much change your sensitivity when you're trying to aim. Vehicle mouse aim sensitivity is set at 6-7, just because I find that's probably the easiest for me, and it's just a meme at the moment, so I was like, fuck it, let's do it. This is probably the biggest setting you need to change. So you want to have this maxed out to 83, otherwise you're not going to be able to see anything around you as much as other people will with this setting. So basically this just widens your field of view, so you can see more things on the screen while flying, and you just got way more peripheral vision, and you can just spot things so much easier. So please, please, please make sure to max this out, otherwise you've got an unfair advantage against other players. So vehicle boost, I've got this on hold just because I like to manually use my afterburner. I don't like to have it on all the time. If I had it on toggle, I would probably forget to turn it off. So I have this set to hold just to help me out. Once you use your afterburner, it's got a kind of regen, so you don't really want to do that. So aeroplane zoom, I've got this just set to right click. It would probably be L2 or LT on default on controller. So I haven't really messed around with this. I'm quite happy with how it is.